Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Dadbod to Daddy transformation vlog, and super happy with today's workout. I decided because my lats and my calves are my best muscle groups, and I really just need more arms at this point while I'm cutting, I decided that just to do lat work today is nothing but weighted chins, and I decided to push these really hard, go heavy. Again, go ahead and just focus on the power building side, and then I'll do lots of pump work on the curls, and that's exactly what I did. So I just went progressively heavier on set after set. I got 6 reps with 55, did a couple sets with 80, did 4, managed to get 3 reps with 100, and then went up to 110 and managed to get 2. I was hoping I could get 3. But it didn't happen. But I'm at 208 pounds, so again, we're talking over 300 pounds on the last couple sets of weighted chins. Super happy with that. Now, what I will say, and this is always the funniest thing, I always get a lot of criticism on the internet for the way I do various lat exercises, usually by people with no back, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The proof is in the pudding. I have never had a problem developing my back. I always get a great mind-muscle connection with it, right? I get a phenomenal mind-muscle connection in my lats, and so I do what makes them feel the stretch and the burn and the pump, okay? And it has always worked for me for decades. Doesn't matter whether it's rows, pull-ups, chin-ups. So again, I have my own methods for it, but really, really happy with these weighted chins today. They felt good. I felt both lats and biceps, and then I went over into curls, and in fact my biceps were pretty fatigued from that. But here's the thing, I want my biceps to actually get stimulus on every single set on this day, so that's another reason I'm doing chins. Again, arms are going to come up. I know the triceps are probably my worst muscle group at the moment, but even then, having bigger biceps will never make your triceps look smaller. So again, we push the biceps really hard on this day. Push them really hard because they seem to be able to handle a little more volume these days, so I go ahead and push it. But none of my volumes are really high, and I think people also realize that. We don't need really high volumes, we need quality work. Right, we need quality work, and the only reason I really do the 5-day split is to make sure that every muscle actually does get worked from the first set, right? Because I do back and biceps together, my biceps do get worked on the very first set. Same thing, chest and triceps. So that's why I have everything split up in the 5-day split I do. And most of my muscles don't get over about 10 sets. Some only get 5 or 6. Things like lats. Unless we count the pullovers and the deadlifts for lats, which I technically do, by the way. I consider those to be valid lat exercises as long as we are getting a good solid vertical pull with it. So with these were pretty hard. I mean, I slowed down on that 10th rep because I know 10 reps is about all I can get. So I take the 10th rep slower on these to make sure that I can't do an 11th, and it pretty well works. So it keeps me right around 10 reps to reach failure. And again, I only ended up doing 6 total sets for biceps today, but I went somewhere with that. Because again, I notice when I do the easy bar curls, my physique looks better, so I finished with a set of those just to see if I was going to look how I thought I was going to look. And yeah, super happy with how they did. In fact, I'm probably going to make a reel later with that as its own clip. So what I've also done, the preacher curls, I wanted to mess with them with dumbbells for a while, which is what I did here today, just like I did last week, because again, while I like the easy bar, I do feel like maybe getting that independent side is probably better for someone like me, particularly who's had that old bicep injury. Always lead with that old injured side that's been repaired, so that again, it determines how much work I actually do. And the ironic thing is that it seems like it's a hair stronger. Even though that arm is slightly smaller and is missing some muscle fibers, it actually seems to be a tiny bit stronger. But it could also be because I always lead with it, so there's more fatigue. And that's okay, because it is the smaller side. I want it to get the most work if something is going to get disproportionate. So part of the method to my madness here, plus the thing I find when I use the decent sized plates, I really struggle with them hitting the little holders. So I've liked this preacher bench. It was priced really well. It's very sturdy. It's a little wide. Okay? It's a little wide down at the bottom, particularly for my Easy Bar. So if I'm not careful when I use bigger plates like those 25s, it does tend to tap it. So by going to dumbbells, it just resolves that. Although I do really like using the Easy Bar on it. It feels fantastic in terms of just bicep loading. So yeah, so I only did 2 sets of these because I feel like when I did the 3rd set last time, I was losing several reps. And I already had a great bicep workout. So keeping in mind, because weighted chins do get biceps, they are an actual legit bicep exercise. 3 sets of curls to failure, that's really putting my set count pretty high. If we count all 5 of those chins, even though they're very, very low reps, if we count them as sets for biceps, we were up to 8 sets before we got to these. This takes me to 10, in that 12 rep range. So, we did in the 2 to 6, and we did 10s and I did 12s. And then I decided afterwards to just do a high rep set with a lightweight to failure on those Easy Bar curls, right? Serves a couple purposes, gives me another angle, lets me do one really high rep set on stuff. Again, muscles that are really important to me, I do like to do that. Which I've been doing a little more of that, like even on the sissy squats. I've noticed it's making my quads come back up, doing that one really, really high rep set to finish after my other leg work. Speaking of which, I think I'm going to mess with the safety bar tomorrow on the squats. I think I'm going to mess with the safety bar. I just want to keep my shoulder health on point. My shoulders are feeling great. Mobility is getting better. I want to make sure that we maintain that. And I have the safety bar, so I might as well use it. But then we get to these. And again, just because of this angle, it's like this really kind of shows where I'm at. I seem to get a really good arm pump. And again, looking at this footage, this is the best my physique's ever looked. 47, best physique I've ever had, and I'm still in the middle of a cut. Okay? Like I said in the video yesterday, I'm at 208 now. The game plan has been to get to 200 and then assess. I think I'm going to need to go under 200. That's what I'm already predicting to get lean enough to really look how I need to look. But even then, you look at this and go 8 more pounds of fat lost, right? 8 pounds of fat is about a gallon. So if I lose 8 more pounds and it's all fat, maybe in a good place, and we'll see later how I look when I carb back up. But super happy with how I look here. Like super, super happy. Like if it wasn't for trying to make more money on the internet, I wouldn't care about enhancing my physique any further beyond where I am. Like I could live this way perfectly happy. But all about that business. And then we finish with a set of hanging leg raises. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.